I have a bit of a childhood trauma with potatoes, so I do not like to eat potatoes at all, but I do like, I like potatoes in a...
You have a childhood trauma with potatoes?
Talking to a person, who could it be? It's TBD with IRV.
Hello, beautiful beings, and welcome back to TBD with IRV. I'm your host, Isabella Vergun, and this is a show where we talk to incredible creators, musicians, artists, small businesses from all over the country and all over the world about the amazing stuff they're doing, especially right now during this weird-ass pandemic time. We are so lucky and fortunate to be joined today by the DJ, Bootie Mashup DJ and performer, Jupiter Gatling. We are very privileged to have her in our midst today, and we're gonna ask some questions and have a good time. So very, very stoked to see you today. By the way, I'm gonna keep drinking out of this giant bottle. Oh, but this is not sponsored SodaStream content. Perfect, great.
We both have a SodaStream bottle. Of course, me being a German, I only drink sparkling water and nothing else. And I made Adriana buy a SodaStream for San Francisco when I'm there. And she also bought me one for Christmas several years ago, because she's just over, lugging all these crates with me when we go shopping. So now I just have one at home.
That's literally my parents did the same thing this year. They're like, you're always complaining when I come home from groceries that I also am bringing these giant crates of sparkling water. So do you like any of the flavors? I've been kind of underwhelmed by the flavoring.
I have never tried the flavors, actually. Like I have some. I somehow got some from a friend, but I never actually tried them. Although I know
sparkling water sometimes.
I just like the sparkling water. It's like all I drink. However, I heard, so I know SodaStream is also selling beer syrup and champagne syrup. So you can actually make your own beer and champagne with it. And according to the reviews, those are shockingly good. So I've been trying to get my hands on those, but I don't know, I just haven't. They were either sold out. I was just too lazy actually looking it up. So I'd rather just tell the funny story, but don't do anything with it. Maybe I do it today. Maybe. Unlikely. Maybe but one day.
SodaStream champagne might be a dangerous thing for me to have in my house. But I'm intrigued. I'm definitely, does it actually have alcohol like content in it, or is it just flavored like champagne?
No, it's flavored, but it also has the content in it, from what I understand. It's not like the sake Kit Kat, which are just the taste, which are also very, very tasty. Okay. Have you ever tried sake flavored Kit Kat?
No.
Those are fucking great. I mean, like it's obviously a Japanese item, but sometimes they travel to, like little Asian stores across the world, and so good. Like it literally just tastes like sake.
That sounds very tasty, actually.
It's pretty good.
Okay, well, let's start off with, we got a little, how are we doing right now? How it's the day? How are you? You just had an interview. You're popping off today.
I did, yeah. I just, I still have the Sailor Jupiter hair going on, so I decided to keep it. I just changed from the school uniform into the little Hot Topic Jupiter bikini, which, it's green, so I'm transparent because I'm in front of a green screen. But I gave it a more pseudo professional look with a little jacket on top. It is a serious interview, right? So
I like that. This is, I got my jacket, you got your jacket. We're like ready for this.
Exactly. Yeah. They're like top CEOs of some punk company, probably. I don't know. Well, I think I'm doing pretty good so far. My biggest achievement today was I assembled my Christmas present. I got a display case because I have now too much. I'm collecting Sailor Moon merch, right? And I have too much merch for not enough space. And after the last little Ausflug to IKEA with Adrienne, I'm like, look how pretty this is. I just want this for Christmas. And now it arrived yesterday, and today I built it, and it is so much bigger than I thought. So now we rearranged the entire hallway, but it's cute.
Amazing. And I'm actually, that's always the best, right? When you've been kind of wanting something for a while and you can open that on Christmas and it's so satisfying. It's like, I've needed this. This is what this whole year's been waiting up till.
Yeah, it seems like generally the world has been a little bit better now around Christmas, with
Yeah.
a few better news coming out as opposed to all the shit that's been the entire year. So yeah, it's still weird as Christmas time because luckily I live with Adriana currently, but I was not able to see my family. I was just staying home. I haven't seen anyone really for months,
Yeah.
which no, it's the thing to do, but it's a little sad.
It is a little. I this was the first year I did not get to spend Christmas with my family, so it was definitely just different. But we actually I would prefer not to do it again, but we were able to do stuff over Zoom, and everyone was very, we were very lucky that one of our good friends lives maybe about 20 minutes from here, and her parents work from home, so they're very, very bubbled, and they had us over for like a nice Christmas dinner. So
Cute.
that was a lovely time, and it was nice to be able to at least spend it with people that you love, even if you can't be with your family.
Yeah, we did it like similarly. So I let Adriana cook all day because she just is into creating these big elaborate meals for Thanksgiving and Christmas. It's just her thing. I was streaming, she was cooking, and then I called up my father. My brother's living close to my father, so he drove over and they were hanging out, and we were hanging out, and it's kind of funny. My brother told me afterwards that it was really, really nice. There was not like they're not really fighting, but they sometimes annoy each other, and then they have like weird discussions. So, and apparently that didn't happen at all, and everything was great and perfect and good. And now I'm like, I wonder if it is just because it's two less people there that, my father tries to shove food in our faces and we're like, but we're full, please stop doing this, we're so full. And my brother's always the one who says, stop doing this to them. And this is how it starts, It's like, it's not bad, but it's just a little like, oh, come on, we're adult now.
We all kind of whip each other up. Like my brother and I will get into it, or even my parents. Like you kind of fall back into those how you grew up roles, even though we're all adults, and then suddenly I'm with my brother and like we're teenagers again and smacking each other with pillows. Like it's just like, what happened? We leave, we're totally fine. But I'm thinking I'm going to start off with a question that I like to start off these interviews with, which is, so you now kind of what you do mainly is you're a DJ and a performer, and you do streaming on Twitch as well.
Exactly.
And you've been into the kind of the DJ and the dance music scene for quite a while. When was it something that I like to ask this question? When was it something that you first had an interest in, and that at what point were you like, this is what I want to pursue for my work, like this is what I want to do with my life? Because I think those are sort of two different moments for a lot of people.
They are. It's actually a fairly ridiculous story. I don't know if you ever heard of DJ P Break.
No.
I don't know, maybe I just came up with that, but a lot of DJs, okay, if your partner is a DJ, chances are you're becoming a DJ, because when your DJ partner needs to pee, they tell you, so here's the controller. If the time runs out, hit this play button. The same way that you now see with DJ Ersin and Kat, when she takes over when Ersin is going in the bathroom. Basically, the same happened for me, just it was at Burning Man. So if you're familiar with Burning Man, it's just, a fake city you build for a week in the desert, and then you take everything away again. So that means there's no plumbing or water. You bring everything yourself. So the only way you can use the bathroom is you go to those nasty ass porta potties from hell. And they are not everywhere. They are a little bit hidden. You need to drive somewhere with your bike for 10 minutes if it's
urgent.
Or if it's just like where it's situated, it's just this way the city is built. I think they're only on like every 3 rows of the city, because it's built in a half circle, you basically get the porta potties. So like you definitely need a DJP break when you're DJing, when you're at Burning Man, if you know your set is longer than 1 or 2 hours. So, and this is how I basically started off. I went to, I guess it was my second Burning Man, you know, and we DJ there every day for this whole week. So, you know, we tag along, and Adriana just went off to use one of those porta potties from hell. And I'm like, although she did make it back in time before the song ended, but you know, the DJP break is always the contingency plan. And you know, whenever I was standing there, I felt like, ooh, this is exciting. I've been going to those parties for like 7 years at this point, and I'm like, I actually know all those songs. What if I just pick the next song, you know? And that felt way more interesting in my head suddenly than I thought it would be, you know? Like I didn't care much about it. I'm just like, yeah, fine, I'm like the booth bitch, but what if, and hear me out, what if I pick the next song, you know? And well, eventually I did. I think my first DJ set was actually a Death Guild at Thunderdome. If you're familiar with that, but maybe to all of you who are not familiar with that, Death Guild Thunderdome is, they're also a camp at Burning Man. Where they are basically recreating Mad Men. From the movie Mad Max Beyond Thunderdome, where you go in and fight, like 2 men enter, 1 man leave. You are being strapped in a harness, 2 bungee cords are attached to you, and then you beat each other up in the air with gigantic Q-tips.
That sounds amazing. It's
a lot of fun
to do.
And it's beautiful. They have like the whole speech in the beginning. The leader of the camp is the amazing opera singer Diva Marisa, and she's singing an aria, and then, you know, the fights start. It's a very, very, very cool thing. And, you know, we play like hardcore death industrial mashups to it. And that was always my favorite part about Burning Man. And like the first Burning Man I went to was even the only part I liked, because I kind of hated all of Burning Man, except for this part. So, and then I started, you know, hanging out there. So Adriana basically showed me during a Death Guild, said, what do those buttons do? And then basically when we were back home, I mean, I knew, so this is the louder button, this is the play button. Here you go. And then I started doing opening sets at DNA Lounge at Bootie, and that was just so much fun. And I mean, obviously it helps when you're sleeping with the promoter, you get the really good gigs and the primetime spots, but turns out I'm actually not bad at it. And now this has been great. I mean, I am, so in my real job, I'm an art director and motion designer, and especially during the beginning of the Corona apocalypse, there was just no jobs for me. Like, you know, everyone was working from home, everyone did Kurzarbeit, as we say in German. So I don't know if you have the same thing in America, but you only work like 75-80% or something, and you get less salary, but your employer pays you less salary, but the country, like the government, pays you like the missing 20% or something. So you're basically almost at the same salary, but you work less. And a lot of agencies had it too. They had a hiring freeze, whatever. But anyway, I just didn't work for several months. And obviously clubs are closed too, so I can't do pole performances either. No nightclubs around. So having started to DJ like 2 years prior to that was very, very helpful, because that's obviously an easy thing you can do from your house. And this is how this all started.
You are correct. That is a wild story, and I have so many questions like branching out from that particular. So we're gonna hit a bunch of stuff. Oh my gosh, that's so cool. So if I'm getting this correct, did you and Adriana begin dating before you started DJing?
Oh, long ago. Yeah. We are now together for 8 years.
Wow, that's really amazing. Congratulations for that. I mean, I know you've been together for a while, but it's just, I don't know. Right now, I think especially with Corona being weird and stuff, I've been like really happy when I'm just like, oh yeah, look at these people doing it. But so, okay, so, and for those of you who don't know, and maybe are not part of the Bootie Mashup community, which you now should be part of because we're really tight, both Adriana and Jupiter are, first of all, like world-renowned DJs, but also within this community, like very, very well-known DJs. Adriana is the one who originally started Bootie Mashup as a concept, and has been doing this for quite some time. I know that Bootie
17 years.
17 years. That's wild. Way before the age when it was easy to do this more digitally. Like, Adriana's been doing this a long time. So I love that. I actually think that makes so much sense that you start picking up on stuff because you're doing it when your partner's out of the room or whatever. You're just like, oh, well, I can pick up this set for a couple minutes or whatever. Okay, great. Love that. How did you and Adriana first meet? I know that Adriana talked about this in a previous interview, but I'd love to hear, a little of your version of the story.
Well, so from my perspective, I just moved to Berlin. I was shortly living in Munich before that. I was just, a fresh junior art director back in an ad agency in Munich. They hired me, and but right when I started there, they were actually in the process of moving to Berlin. So I think I only spent like few months there, like 6 months or something, before they were on Christmas, like last week before Christmas, they were all like, so everybody, we are closing up here and all moving to Berlin.
Oh man.
And it was kind of great. So they didn't take everyone, but they took a lot of people, and they offered everyone, obviously, they help with the move. They, help with like a real estate agent. They paid for the move, for the entire moving truck company. They also offered you more money and a better title to uproot your entire life and move to a different city. Meanwhile, me, who just finished studying, just moved to Munich. Like, I got nothing. I have no furniture. I have I had a few friends there, but I didn't have like family or anything there. It was not like I even had any roots. So I'm like, okay, I just got here and you're paying me more money and you pay me to live in Berlin. Okay.
I'm not complaining.
Right. So I don't know. I feel like I got just very fortunate on the timing with all this. So I ended up here. That was my so there was like a bit of a transition period where the agency put us up in either a hotel or in an apartment they got for like 3 or 4 people for the agency. But the agency paid it, so it was swanky shit. It was kind of nice. For a week, for like a month or something, they put me up in a Russian hotel, and me being Ukrainian, obviously speaking Russian, I'm one of them. So after I just kind of dropped the hint that I'm Ukrainian, spoke Russian with them, suddenly I always got upgraded to the penthouse from then on.
Oh, it's just,
what a coincidence. So,
they're like, oh, we like you.
Yeah, of course. Okay, but so now this was after my move, after I found my place. I just moved. I went and had a drink in the absinthe bar next door with my father and brother, who were there to, help me install the lamps. And I'm short. I have short arms. I'm not good at installing lamps. Also, I don't even know how to install lamps, honestly.
You're just like, you can just come over.
Yeah,
just come over and help.
Exactly. So that was cute. We went to the absinthe bar next door. I, went to the bathroom and saw a flyer there of a mashup party. And I'm like, what? Oh my God, that's so fucking cool. I fucking love mashup. So I guess that there's like really living in a big city. There are mashup parties here. So I went. It was like the next Friday. I went there. I also ended up, it was like also a club super close to where I live, where already have been a few times. It was like my favorite club at that time. So I went there, packed my best friend. We went to the club together, and the flyer said, if you are dressed like a pirate, you can pay as much as you want. Like you basically can pay €1 entry or no euro entry.
Yeah, you have a much less steep entry fee.
Exactly. So I'm like, hell yeah, of course I'm going to dress up like a pirate. Any reason to dress up. So I'm walking in there, standing in line, like, oh, wow, okay, I'm the only idiot who's dressed like a pirate. Oh, except for that girl over there. She's dressed like a pirate. Yay. So inside, I'm like, oh, that only other girl dressed like a pirate is on stage. So she's obviously part of the crew. So, okay, I am the only idiot wearing a pirate shirt, not a shirt, a full-on pirate outfit.
Yeah.
Well, I don't care. I look cute. So, well, yeah, you can guess that girl was Adriana. So as she was singing a mashup of Closer by 9 Inch Nails and I Love Rock and Roll by Joan Jett. So Closer to Rock and Roll. I'm like, oh my God, it's one of my favorite songs. I've never heard it outside of my own place. Then again, keep in mind, I just moved from Munich. Munich is not necessarily famous for the nightlife, and especially not for like raging rock and goth parties. So all that was pretty new and exciting to me. So I was like, 9 Inch Nails outside my own house. You're kidding me? So she was super hot. I just wanted to make out with her. That was my only goal for the night. I went up to her after she was done and was like, oh, hey, so the song you played, of those of you who do not know the song and that the chorus, the lyrics chorus are, I want to fuck you like an animal. This is basically what I implied coming up to her with my eyebrow. I'm like, hey. So I rudely asked her if she's into boys and to girls. She said both, and I said, and then I just started stalking her through the club till she surrendered and made out with me.
I actually think that's such a sweet story, as you know, like it's also hilarious, but it's such a sweet story because it's, it's really like you were the only pirates at the dance. And of course you had to make out. Like, that's just what the pirates at the dance have to do. It's actually nice. I mean, obviously Pirate is the Bootie Mashup sort of flagship under which you run, but it's so funny now, all these years later, and you guys are playing D&D as pirates together for the first time under CJ's banner, which I'm sure we'll get to that in a little bit too. But no, that's such a lovely story. And I was gonna ask, if I can remember. Will I remember what I was going to ask? No, I won't.
No, you won't.
But how long after that did you guys kind of become a thing? Because I'm sure you dated a little bit, Well,
keep in mind of the geography here. So I was in Berlin and Adriana is living in San Francisco. So she was just randomly on tour in Europe. And so, I mean, we had such a good energy together. We hit it off immediately. We, of course, she didn't think she'd ever see me again after this night, but completely randomly, and no one's believing me that is really just a coincidence, but completely coincidentally, she had a party, the last in Germany, the week after on the Friday back in Munich, and I just moving from Munich was heading back to Munich that weekend anyway. So when I found out that she had
Kismet. It was Kismet.
It was, yeah. It was fucking destiny or something. So, when I figured out that she had a party there next week when I'm in Munich anyway, of course I'm gonna go, right?
Of course you're gonna go.
So then we were there again. Then she invited me to meet her in Budapest, 2 days later, for a very last tour stop. And that was May Day, so it's a holiday in Germany anyway. So I'm not working. Hell yeah, I'm going to Budapest with you. And we just have fortunate timing all the way through. So that was what I call our first date, basically Budapest. And then we just kept having these little international dates. After that, we met in Vegas for a week, then in New York for a week. Also, okay, granted, between those, they were like 5 months apart, but in like that time, we were just constantly texting like every day, basically.
Yeah.
And eventually more and more. I eventually quit my job at this agency, became a freelancer. So now I can just do whatever. I'm being booked by agencies. I'm sitting somewhere in an RV in the middle of the desert and cut movies. And then I climb up a mountain and send them out with my phone. That actually happened, yeah. Was during Wasteland, a different post-apocalyptic festival where there's like, it's in the California desert. There was actually no reception unless you climb up on that mountain that was next to our RV. So like twice a day I went up there to get emails and send out movies. I compressed them down super all the way down to just a few megabytes. It's like, oh, just the preview version, right? So I climbed up there with my phone and sent out movies. On a festival on a mountain on my phone, but it worked.
Oh, there we go.
So
I think that's so. It's such a kind of romantic story. You guys sort of dated. Fate brought you together, all over the world.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, I mean, and then we just had like these vacation dates, and then it was not a date where we said this is where we got together, but we celebrate the day we met every year.
I love that, and I think it's beautiful, and it brings a lot of warmth into my heart. When you talk about, you said you work as an art director, right? Like freelance.
Mm-hmm.
What does that entail for you? Because you said advertising agency for a while, and then you do that with movies. Like, I actually genuinely, embarrassing for someone who works in the entertainment world. I don't super know what an art director does.
Okay, so my official title is art director and motion designer, which are not the same thing, but I'm a bit of an one-man army when it comes to creating assets. So back in the ad agency, my job was I had a text partner, a copyright partner, and me, and usually, we're like two people. When we sit together, we create concepts for our clients where we come up with what should be the way we talk about the product, what should be the key visual, how do we want to execute this, what is the TV spot going to look like. And then I'm also actually going to, direct, or not necessarily direct, but, I create a concept for the TV spot, and we go to the shooting, then we create the photos, then I make the layouts. And that also, sometimes it means, I'm creating these gigantic billboards and it's really cool. And I'm going to, Lithuania for a shooting, and sometimes I sit there for 3 weeks and create 475 little banners, because that's kind of also part of the job. So an art director, just I make pretty things. I think about how they should look like, and then I make them.
So you're not the Don Draper in Mad Men. You're everyone that Don Draper works with who are creating what the ad looks like. Yeah,
well, back then ad agencies were a little bit differently. So he's a copywriter actually. Yeah. So back then copywriters were like, conceptors. They were way more important than the art directors were underneath it. And now it's very much equally. So we both together create a concept. And while my text partner is writing some headlines and writing some copy, I'm doing the visuals for it. It's much more together now these days. Yeah.
That makes a lot of sense. I on the copywriter side, I'm a little more familiar with that, but that makes complete sense. And as soon as you start talking about it, I was like, oh yeah, of course. Like, you're the person who makes the ad the way they look, or makes them.
Exactly. Like, I make everything that's visual about it.
Yeah. So when you're talking about shoots and stuff, is that mostly for commercials, or do you do that when you say with movies, do you do that for film as well?
So that particularly was for commercials. There was a TV spot that we did, or several, or photo shoots for like billboard ads and stuff that we did. Now these days, I'm also doing motion design, which is actually a very, very different part of it, but just the way our agency was, I just ended up doing both. And I like both, so why decide if I can offer both? And as a freelancer, I actually do a lot more motion design jobs these days than art direction, because art directors tend more to be, at least from my personal experience, it might be different for other people, but they are usually employed. The concepts are usually made by the employees who are there, who have this client for years and years and work with them, and then they just bring someone in when they need an art director for a pitch to create a bunch of layouts. And motion designer is you often don't have one in-house, or if you do, sometimes there's just too much work and you need another one. So I mostly just get booked for this these days. So motion design means I do animations, post-production. I do not shoot my own footage, but I get footage and then I make it pretty. Then I cut it together, like I edit movies, or as often I just get a script for a mood video, or like for I do often like pitch movies, like pitching ideas. I kind of create stuff that isn't there before. I create some copywriter's idea of what they want to see, and then I make it.
Jupiter, I can't believe I didn't know this. I mean, like, it's such a cool thing. And I think that it's kind of what I've talked about actually with a lot of folks on this show, is a lot of people that I've had the chance to interview have a day job that is kind of, there's a creativity involved in it. But that means whatever they do kind of as, if they're a musician or if they're a DJ or anything, has to be in a very different area of creativity, because otherwise it's not as fun. Like, it's hard to like work as a writer and then write for fun, it can be a little exhausting. So I think that actually fits really kind of nicely into this, like, the work that you do is really creative and it's really cool. But then you also do DJing, which is also really creative and really cool, and producing mashups. I have been lucky enough to see, I mean, you guys are kind of my first foray into mashups in a lot of ways, because I think I knew my dad used to, back in the day, my mom and my dad used to be a big fan of Napster. So they used to make mixtapes a lot. So like more, how to curate a good mixtape, or a good, but in terms of mashups, like, it's kind of been really new, and it's so delightful when you're like, oh, this is a surprise, a mashup I didn't realize existed, or, oh, these are two songs I really love and I can't believe they're together in one spot. What would you say were either kind of at the beginning or still are, what are some like big mashups that either you created that you're really proud of, or that you heard and you're like, that's a really fucking good mashup? I'm sure you got many, but like, what are some mashups that stand out to you?
Well, so there's one that I always like to show people that are like, what is a mashup? I don't understand it. And I think that they don't like it because they probably only heard terrible mashups of YouTube so far and don't know the magic that's actually behind it. And I also, and when I just started DJing, this was just, I just played this in every set, right? And it is Lobster Dust's Staying Hot. So it's Staying Alive, the instrumental, with the lyrics of Nelly's Hot in Here, which, it's kind of a classic. At this point, it's a classic of a certain age. The kids these days, the kids these days possibly don't know it anymore, because after all, it wasn't that big of a hit. It's like not Mariah Carey on Christmas or something, but it's definitely like, it was a jam back in the day, and it's still is.
I remember that. But now we both feel old because people, the young folks don't.
They do not. But I mean, the magic of mashups is usually that you take something new and something old and together and bring the older stuff to a new audience. And like, the Bee Gees are like that old that they're back again, the same way Fleetwood Mac circled back all the way back. I feel like you just know the disco sound of the Bee Gees, even though you're super young or super old.
It's actually really lovely like that. Like, I don't want to interrupt you, but I kind of am realizing when you said that, I was like, oh yeah, there must be so many younger people who are listening to a song and they're like, oh, I love this song. Like, this is a great song. I wonder what this like oldie is. And they look it up and they're like, oh, it's, I mean, I was going to say the YMCA, but everybody knows the YMCA, but like something that they're like, oh, I've never heard this song before. And suddenly, you guys kind of give it a new breath of fresh air, and everyone's like, wow, this is a cool song I've never heard before. And all of us are like, yeah.
Yeah. But it also works both ways. Like through mashups, I found a complete new appreciation for songs or artists I never liked. Like honestly, if I wouldn't have mashed up Cardi B myself, I would not actually liking her, I guess. I mean, granted, now this year with 5 million WAP mashups that came out, you cannot avoid her. And WAP is a piece of art. Like, can't change my mind. But so I'm not a big fan necessarily of hip hop vocals or of rap vocals, simply because I don't understand them. Because I'm not a native speaker, obviously, and I'm having a very, very hard time understanding what they're saying because they basically just talk very, very fast, and so I'm kind of losing the connection, and it just doesn't end up in my brain.
In a very literal way, not like I don't understand this type of music, but like I literally cannot understand.
I literally don't understand them. No, I mean, even though I like the music of Hamilton, I still don't know what they're talking about, honestly. But I mean, that had I know
hard to hear
times that I get it, but like Adrian, I need you to tell me the entire plot twice. So it's not my country. I don't know who those people are, and it's all sung very fast. But same with Rent. When I saw that, I didn't like Rent either, because I'm if it's completely sung all the way, just having a hard time understanding it.
Oh, yeah. Are most of your mashups then English language just for the broader audience, or do you also do mashups in, Russian or German, that sort of thing?
Well, funnily, I actually had all those artists. So I mashed up mostly Japanese artists so far, because I'm a big otaku anime fan, as you can probably tell by my little companion Sailor Moon over here. I made a lot of anime mashups, but I usually only take the instrumental and not the vocal, because the instrumental is recognizable. So because depending on what country you watched it in, I got a German version, you got the English version, but it's all the same melody. So this is the recognizable part which I'm taking, and just slap a different vocal on top. So now I can play a Sailor Moon song at prime time in the middle of the dance floor, and because it's Cardi B, people will still dance, and two people are gonna come up and be like, oh my god, this is Sailor Moon. Yeah, this is kind of the kind of mashups I create. I made more geeky shit, like I did One Piece, Digimon, way more Sailor Moon. Yeah, just all the anime I like, because I'm not.
Well, I know you are a Sailor Moon fan.
Very much. I also created one with Tattoo, which like a Russian band.
I know Tattoo.
I like Tattoo. I did use their English instrumentals, just because if I'm already going one step further by taking a Japanese song barely anyone knows and having it as an instrumental. If I now also take the Russian version of Tattoo, that is 2 steps removed. And from a producer perspective, it doesn't matter. From a DJ perspective, I'm like, no, I do know what my crowd is like, and I do still want them to enjoy it and to be able to actually ever play the songs I made. That's why I can't bring it back too far,
So
that's why
essentially it makes sense then for you, for each mashup that you're going to play at a show, that there's at least one part of the song that kind of everyone would know, is recognizable. So you
exactly, yeah,
to that certain part, and then you're like, oh, what interesting background music, or what interesting instrumental track, or what interesting, there's something that people can hold on to, and there's something that people can discover at the same time.
Exactly. Yeah, that is the plan. I mean, this is a very DJ kind of perspective on producing. I mean, there's so many mashups out there that songs nobody heard before with another song nobody heard before, but a lot of producers just do it for themselves and not for somebody else. But then those are not necessarily the songs that we will play in a nightclub, or maybe also not on the channel. Well, maybe I play it, in the early late night morning hours, but I will not play it as the, opening track or something, because in a way, so what Adriana always says, and I agree with that, we are here for them. The crowd is not here for us. We are here for the crowd, so that the crowd has a good time. You know, it's not like you're not just watching me playing my 2-hour playlist of only Placebo, Nine Inch Nails song and Sailor Moon songs, which it would be if it was only what I want to hear. Although I have played my fair share of Nine Inch Nails songs on the channel. No, I'm always, we all love Nine Inch Nails, right? So I always, there has to be always something that a normal person can latch on to. You know, I'm not the type of DJ who's like, oh no, I need to educate the crowd. Because, you know, you're here to have a good time. So I'm playing stuff I assume you will like. And therefore, it should not be completely obscure anime background song with this Russian vocal of this band that doesn't exist anymore from a deep cut, you know, so.
Yeah, no, that makes perfect sense that like, there are songs that you will create and that people will create as music producers that you're like, this just sounds really cool. I love this. And probably you can share within the producer community and people are like, wow, this sounds great. But when you're a DJ, you're essentially like kind of the life of the party in a lot of ways. You're controlling the mood of the room. So you want to be able to curate the best experience for the type of party that they want to have.
Exactly.
I love that. That's so great. And the reason let's go back to Sailor Moon for a second, because you've been able to now lean in to that a little bit more. I know you have your own show that, I mean, let's talk a little bit about that, because that's pretty awesome.
So essentially, I just started DJing on my own channel because before Bootie Mashup became partner, we were just limited in our emotes. You know, you only get 5. And me, you know, the designer of the channel, obviously, I'm like an emote making machine. And I'm like, I just want all the emotes. And then I'm like, wait a minute, what if I just DJ'd on my own channel so I can basically get, you know, 5 more emote slots once I get affiliate. Then, you know, Bootie Mashup made partner, which is great. So I created like 30 more emotes there. And I'm like, you know, I just really want to have my Sailor Senshi, like the Sailor soldiers. I just want to have them as emotes. I just want to create something and to have it, to use it on Twitch. So then I started DJing my own channel, and I'm a very, very big fan of the music of Sailor Moon, because it's like finest 90s jazz in there, Japanese jazz music in there. Like there's some mean sax and there's transformation music. There's a lot of classic music in there. They have like beautiful themes that keep repeating throughout the season and also throughout 200 episodes. It's just like it's just very, very well made. Like I just really enjoy the music. And if I'm not streaming, everything I'm listening to 24/7 is basically Sailor Moon background music. And it's like literally the score of it. So I mean, I listen to the songs as well, but I'm mostly just listening to the score music, which is just very, very motivating. I mean, the same way it's there to evoke some emotion in you while you're watching the anime, like of danger, of happiness, of motivation too, you know, the same way that I'm literally playing the soundtrack for my own life right now by creating this music that lets me dream, but also focus, because unlike songs with words, I sometimes can't work and listen to my favorite songs. Like I basically barely ever listen to Placebo on my own house, even though it's my favorite band, because those lyrics and words, like the songs are kind of like everything to me. Like it is an active
experience listening.
Yeah, exactly. It's an active thing. Like I can't just sit there and listen to it passively. No, it's like an active thing that I'm doing, and I need to make time for this. If I'm just trying to slam through some work or you know, clean up the house, do some chores or something, I need to listen to Sailor Moon background music. I can't listen to something that when the lyrics are actually talking to me too much on a deeply emotional level.
They've actually, I believe this is correct, although watch, you know, people come in and be like, you are incorrect. But I believe they've done studies about listening to music while you work and that kind of stuff. And that there's only a specific song that has lyrics. If you know it too well, you'll get distracted because you want to like sing along or listen to it. And if you don't know it well enough, then your brain's trying to process new lyrics. So if you're listening to songs with lyrics while you're doing things, it has to be a song you've only listened to like 3 or 4 times. So your brain kind of puts it in the background. And that's so much work. Like, you might as well just have a lovely instrumental track before my brain just starts being like, okay, I need to pick apart these lyrics now.
Yeah, I mean, also helps if you're listening to Japanese songs, because I don't actually speak Japanese. So it's just like, I cannot even begin to understand them. So good, I guess. But because I love these songs so much, I felt like I can't possibly be the only person who loves them. Because it's now the 28th anniversary of Sailor Moon, for the 25th anniversary, there was a symphony show they created. And, there was just like a fucking symphony orchestra touring. Or maybe it was the same spot, but I think they had like 3 different spots, but several concerts. Anyway, they recorded this symphonic rearrangement of all the big songs, and it's just a beautiful CD. And it's just like my favorite. It's 2 of them. It's my favorite 2 CDs right now. And I just like there's like this 10-minute medley of Uranus and Neptune. It's just like the best fucking thing ever. And I felt like I have to share this with other people. Like, this is so good, and you might not realize how good it is because you might not be a DJ, professionally think about music 24/7. I need to share this with the people. So I created my channel first because I wanted to create my own emotes, and also because I had this good thing I want to share. And now just fun. Now I just keep coming up with new themes that I want to share and play Sailor Moon songs from this gigantic catalog in, all under this group, because I believe I have all the songs. I'm pretty sure I have all the songs that ever got released.
Well, I love it because it's a different mood, right? It tends to be even there are some like real pump up songs, but it tends to be kind of a more mellow experience overall.
Yeah, a lot of them, exactly.
Like stuff that you can kind of put on while you're doing things, but also we get to hear your commentary on some of the stuff and where the songs are coming from. Let everybody know for if they're going to find you on Twitch, where they can find your Sailor Moon channel.
They can find me at Jupiter Gatling, all one word. Every Thursday at 1 p.m. Pacific, I'm playing the Sailor Moon background music to study / listen to. That's the name of the show, although I vary the titles depending on what it is. For Christmas, it was the Sailor Moon background music to get married to. And I have most of the VODs online. A few got deleted by now because it's, been over 2 months. But, check it out. Most of it is really just chill, nice background music with, me talking over it. It's really chill. Like, I'm dancing around. I'm showing you my merch collection, select pieces of it. It's just like fucking nerd otaku meeting, really. But it's fun.
I think it's really lovely. And I think Sailor Moon too has sort of taken on this life because it was, for one thing, a lot of the English speaking world's and probably a lot of other countries' first expose to anime. A lot of people will say that's probably the first anime they've ever seen.
Much, yeah.
Or like, Speed Racer, like you said, it's beautifully scored. It's very female empowering. It's also very sapphic. Like, there's so many things about it that I think queer people loved as children, and then they grow up and they're like, oh, I'm queer.
Totally. It's very gay. It's very queer. I mean, the first few queer people I ever saw, I saw on that show. There's the gay villains couple. There's the the 2 lesbians who are just the absolute best. There are trans characters later in the season that got cut entirely from America, but we got to see them. It's just very, very queer. Yeah,
it is. And I think now, because I was one of those kids who I kind of knew adjacently about Sailor Moon. I was a very hardcore Pokemon kid. That was my first anime, That makes some sense. I was very much in my I'm a boy gender queer phase of my life then, so Sailor Moon was off the table. But now I think as an adult, man, Sailor Uranus really and Sailor Neptune, they really kind of resonate in a deep way in my soul.
Totally. And you know what? So I guess a bunch of people feel this way because so they now conducted another ranking. That's kind of a popular thing in Japan. You rank your most popular characters, and if you read the manga throughout it, you did you freeze?
Okay, we're on Frozen. Sorry about that.
Okay.
Conducted a ranking is the last thing.
Yeah. Just a thing manga do, like every now and then if you read through the manga, there's like, there's a double spread. It's like, oh, this is the current ranking. And usually like Sailor Moon or Super Sailor Moon or Princess Serenity or Usagi, one version of Sailor Moon has always been number one basically the entire time through. And now they did a new ranking just like 3 weeks ago, 2 weeks, 3 weeks ago, like very, very recent. And now 28 years later, guess who's number one? Sailor Uranus. And number 3 is Haruka Tenno, so her untransformed version. So out of the top 3, the same lesbian is number 1 and number 3.
Yeah.
But she's not also a lesbian, she's also a gender fluid. She uses he pronouns. She's fantastic. Like, this is all we needed in the 90s.
It's honestly, somebody posted a picture of, I think it was, I'm still new to the Sailor Moon universe. I think someone posted a picture of them recently, and I looked at it and I was like, it's me. It's me in
it's kind of you.
it's me in a manga form. I guess it was kind of, I felt very seen. I was like, man, I should have watched Sailor Moon so much earlier. I would have just realized things about myself.
Actually, if you want to, every Tuesday we're doing a watch along in Zoom with the Discord. If you follow the Bootie Discord and the Moon Lounge every Tuesday. So after we're done here, I'm actually gonna go straight into the Zoom and we are watching the entire Sailor Moon show. We've done it now 5 times, so we're still in first season. So we're at the gay villains now, but not at the lesbians now. But if you want to join, we do it every Tuesday. You're welcome anytime.
I might do that. That sounds really nice. Okay, again, tell people. So Bootie Mashup obviously we have a Dance Commander Disco Lounge where we go and hang out, which you can join if you follow Dance Commander or Amy Becker on Instagram, or I think you guys post about it on Bootie Mashup as well. So it's Tuesdays at what time?
Tuesdays usually at 10 p.m. my time. That is also 1 p.m. your time, but we often shift it a little bit to the back. However, this is not actually in the Dance Commander Disco. This is our Zoom party. This is just because it's such a small subset of it. Yeah, we are meeting on the Bootie Mashup Discord. There's the Bootie Mashup Discord and the Dance Commander Discord. Dance Commander Discord. Those are 2 different things. So just join both.
Yes, 100%.
Yeah, so just join the Bootie Mashup Discord. In there is the channel Moon Lounge. This is basically where I talk about my show and where I announce stuff, but also this is where we meet up and then we all open up a Zoom room together and we stream Sailor Moon.
Perfect. I'm glad you clarified that because there's so many Discords that I get confused.
It's kind of a lot, yeah.
Yeah. That I love. I love all of them. And I want to talk about too that you broke a record which
I did, yeah.
Pretty fucking amazing. I believe it is the longest continuous DJ set. You went for 25 hours on one DJ set.
I did. And so far I have not heard that anybody broke it. So I might still be the record holder. I mean, several people now did 24 hours, but I don't know if anyone actually did this extra hour, like not to my knowledge. So yeah, I'm pretty sure I was actually the second person ever on Twitch to do this. Like the first one was some Bulgarian DJ who's kind of like a bigger name. So there were like articles about him, right? And I accidentally did it, didn't even know it's a big deal until Adriana did some research. I'm like, dude, I think you're the second person ever to do this. Like, oh wow, cool. And it is back in May or February. Those months are not like next to each other.
Yeah.
April, May, probably May.
Yeah,
I don't know.
It was after I joined. I joined in March. So April, May makes sense. May probably. Whatever. It was great.
Yeah, it's back in that time, Adriana was still stuck in San Francisco. I was here. We were apart for 5 months, which was also pretty tragic and dramatic. I'm only ever allowed to stay for 90 days in America before I need to come here because I don't have a visa or anything. it's also super complicated to get one. And I'm like, I like it here. I just go back and forth.
Yeah.
In normal times, that's also fine. But so, news of Corona broke already. Everything was weird. The first event started to get canceled here and in the States. I got on a plane. I landed. I turned on my phone and the travel ban was in effect. So then I couldn't go back to America. 2 days later, Europe closed off to America, and ever since borders are shut. And I did not see Adriana for 5 months because it took that long for our Außenministerium, Ministerium of Foreign Affairs, I guess, to institute a rule where you can see each other if you can show that you are if you're like in a relationship with a European person, you can now enter Europe, even if you're not married. But it took 5 months, like it was August, until they did that. And again, another one of our funny timings, we Budapest, Hungary was the first country that opened up to Americans. They kind of they went rogue and just opened it up for Americans because they want that tourist money.
Yeah.
But it was the only country in Europe that did that. And I had like a whole fucking Nacht- und Nebel-Aktion planned where I would meet Adriana there, put her in my car and drive her all the way back over the borders to Germany through 4 country borders. And I had the car ready. We had a DJ friends in Budapest where we could have quarantined for 2 weeks. Like everything was set up. And my friend was about to get into his car to drive it to me while I see a notification that as of tomorrow, Germany lets in unmarried couples. Like, hey, hold on, maybe stay home.
Fucking kismet, man.
Yeah,
the universe is condoning this relationship hard.
Yeah. And then, that was on a Friday. And then, we waited until Tuesday, basically. Yes, as of Monday. Yeah, it was allowed as of Monday or as of Friday, whatever. Basically, give it like 1 day time for the officers to figure shit out, because you probably don't want to be the first person to cross the borders, because you will need to explain this to everyone, because not everyone's watching the news that frantically like we did for the last 5 months. So we waited like 24 hours for safety, and that Tuesday she came here.
I love that story very much.
Yeah, but what I actually wanted to say with this long-winded little story, so for 5 months I was basically alone here in my house, didn't go out, didn't do anything, couldn't work, didn't make any money, didn't have anyone here, and I was just like, living in weird times too. I'm mostly just awake at night, sleeping during the day, and I was literally like, it was a holiday for you guys. It was, I don't know, some holiday, Monday holiday,
like a Memorial Day, yeah, something like
that. And for me it was Monday, and I just looked out the window. It's like sun comes out, it's sunlight. I'm like, I have literally nothing better to do, and maybe I get a tip and at least make some money. So I can only gain from this and have nothing to lose. How about I just keep going? And then suddenly 25 hours later, I'm like, oh shit.
I just love how you broke the record by accident. It wasn't like, well, I'm gonna go. People have done 24 hours, so I'm gonna do 25 hours. You were just like, I guess. Seems like a good thing to do.
Yeah. I mean, Lobster's just tried to break the record, but he only made it to 21 hours till he was too tired.
Honestly, I think when you say it, you're like, oh yeah, like 24 hours, I could do that, no problem. And then I actually try and stay up past like 3 o'clock these days, and my body's just like, why? Although we were talking about this earlier, you don't even, your body's on Pacific time
Most of the time, yeah.
because you
Although-
work DJ hours.
Very much so, yeah. I mean, this morning I actually woke up on a normal time. So sometimes if I stay up long enough, I'm staying up that long that I'm kind of skipping an entire day. And then I wake up like yesterday, woke up 3 a.m. in the morning, stayed up until almost 3 a.m. again, because I had then my show at night and then went to bed immediately after my show and woke up and I'm like, oh, look at that German time. I am back.
You set yourself by an entire 24 hours.
Basically, yeah. And then, but a few DJ sets later, I'm like, well, okay, guess midnight is a good time to wake up.
Well, it's actually funny because I know you and I have been trying to schedule this for a little while, which makes, we're on very different time zones, but it was great because you would be like, oh, let's like meet at 1. And I'm like, who's 1? And you're like, oh, I just assume my 1's your 1 at this point. I'm like, oh yeah. That's how your shows are mostly scheduled.
Pretty much, yeah.
That's so funny. Okay, I'm gonna ask you. We're getting to the point. We're getting close to the end. We gotten to the point where I want to ask you some really dumb questions.
Do it.
Are you ready? Okay.
I'm ready.
If you could be best friends with one fictional character, which would it be?
Oh, obviously Sailor Moon. Very, very obviously. If there's anything these 200 episodes are showing you, is that she's like the best friend you can have, because she's kind of like a total fuck up. She's a total slob. She's a failure. She's always late. She eats too much. She's just great. She's just like me. She's just like the most relatable person. But if you ever need her, she's there. She is literally sacrificing her life to save you. It's like, oh God. And she just has a good heart.
That's such a good answer to that. Oh man, would you rather time travel to the past or to the future?
Oh, future.
Yeah. How far in the future?
Good question. I mean, I would be interested, like really a lot in the future. Like, how's it going to look like in like 300 years? Are we still alive in 300 years? Not looking so good these days.
Maybe you can come back with some answers for us. You've been like, I saw the future. Here's what we got to do now. We all thought it was going to be flood, but for some reason the world is covered in rats now. So we got to get on that rat population like right now.
Yeah, I'm also, I don't know, like I keep wondering what's gonna happen first. Like, are we destroying the planet first, or is the sun gonna swallow us? I mean, eventually the sun's going to swallow the earth, so we all know that, right? But I wonder if we kill the planet first before that happens.
Yeah, I think, there's right now probably 50-50 shot. Hopefully we turn our shit around. Hopefully we start turning our shit around. I think this might work too for several purposes. Can I ask you a question? I just realized this now. Okay, first I'm going to ask you my stupid question, then I'm going to clarify a language thing. Okay. What is your favorite way to eat a potato?
Okay, so I have a bit of a childhood trauma with potatoes, so I do not like to eat potatoes at all, but I do like, I like potatoes in a...
You have a childhood trauma with potatoes? We don't have to share.
I mean, no, we can actually talk about this childhood trauma, I guess, because that one's not too bad. I think I guess I like chips. Yeah, I do like rosemary chips. Those are my favorite chips. I guess that's my favorite kind of potato. And I do like sweet potatoes, but they're a completely different animal. But I do not actually like mashed potatoes, nor especially not normal potatoes. So my thing with potatoes. So again, I'm Ukrainian, so we do some things the Ukrainian way with your little Hausmittelchen, with how you call it, like little home recipes for, whenever I was a kid and I was sick, my father used to boil potatoes and then give me this pot of potatoes, and I needed to sit over this pot of boiling potatoes with a blanket over my head so that I inhale the potatoes, so that my nostrils are free again and I can breathe better, and so I'm
He
not sick
made
anymore.
you like a humidifier out of potatoes.
Yeah, exactly. But no, not like cute eucalyptus or herbal stuff or, whatever, like you can get. No, and it was potatoes. So I always have this Pavlov's response of, I'm sick. I'm breathing in potatoes. I fucking hate the smell of a boiled potato. They are soulless and they're mean to me and they're hot and I don't like this. And then I'm under this fucking potato blanket breathing in potatoes. That's why I hate potatoes now. Probably.
Amazing. I had no idea about this when I came up with this question, so I'm really happy I asked it to you. So this is actually something I was thinking about today. So I know that in German, potato is Kartoffel, right?
Mm-hmm.
Is that also potato in my, so for several years I have tried to learn both. I'm very bad at languages. I'm going to say that right up front.
Okay.
But I'm trying to learn both Russian and Danish. And I don't remember if Kartoffel is also potato in Danish or Russian.
Well, in Russian it's kartoshka.
Kartoshka.
Mm-hmm.
So close. So it might be Kartoffel in Danish.
It might be, yeah, because Danish has a few similarities to German. So yeah, it might very well be Kartoffel.
To Norwegian, but they're a little more sing-songy than we are.
Yeah.
Ironically, or coincidentally, they say, I think it's the Swedes that say the Danish people speak, it sounds like you're speaking Norwegian with your mouth full of potatoes.
Maybe, yeah.
I'll come back. Yeah, I actually took Russian for 3 years, 2 years in college, and I never got any better. I'll tell you this story just because you'll appreciate it as a Russian speaker. I went to, so my family's Jewish, Russian Jewish mostly, and Ukrainian Jewish.
Oh, nice.
And my family, when they moved to America, they moved to the Bronx mostly and Brooklyn. So, and we were in Brooklyn and we went to Little Odessa, where it is mostly a Russian Ukrainian population, and they still speak Russian there quite a lot. So we were in this little bookstore, and I was like 18, and I'm like, I'm gonna practice my Russian, it's gonna go really well. And there was like an older man who passed me and kind of, bumped shoulder, and I was just like, oh, at a show, like Kakala, and he's like, oh, he didn't say Ochin Ploha, that's what I would say, but he said like he was good. And then he kept talking to me about what I was looking for, and I could understand what he was saying, but my vocabulary wasn't good enough to answer him. So he could see me kind of looking for the words, and I was just trying to remember how to say like, please slow down, like, so I could and he goes, oh no, it's okay, we can speak English. And I was just like, I'm just trying to practice my Russian and I'm not very good. But yeah, I've the only thing I've ever been embarrassed doing in public, like public speaking, is when I have to speak in another language. I get very stressed out about it.
Yeah, I mean, I get it. Like, my Russian is so rusty these days because I'm only ever talking to my family. And I mean, obviously, I'm not living with my father anymore. I'm not even seeing him all of this year. So, like, all the English kind of replaced all the Russian. So, no, way better at English than I am at Russian. Because, if
Russian are constructed more similar. Oh, well, English and Danish and Russian are all they're constructed slightly more similarly than to any of the Romance languages, which are just completely different. But I found learning Danish is the most similar to learning English because the sentence structure is almost the same. Like, it's a lot of like word for word translations, whereas in Russian, like, there's more conjugations of things.
Yeah, and declinations. I mean, that's why German is so hard for English speakers, because of the declinations. And you don't even know what declination is. Well, you know, like at least once a week, I try to explain declination to Adriana, and she just doesn't understand it. Meanwhile, I had Latin in school, so I'm like, you know, we even had ablative. We only have accusative, dative, genitive, and nominative, but no, they even have fucking ablative. So yeah.
Oh man, that's hilarious. Would you rather explore deep space or deep ocean?
Deep space, but I'm also super terrified of space, but I'm also totally want to see all of space, but also like we're not supposed to be in space, we're gonna die immediately. So I do have like this romantic fantasy of being out in space, but I'm like, will I even survive the rocket launch? I don't know.
I am exactly the same. I says in my preschool like memory book that I wanted to be a male astronaut when I grew up. And I'm a lot closer to being a man than I am an astronaut, because I'm afraid of heights and space. So that's not
I
going
get that,
great.
yeah. I mean, ocean's cool too, but that's just as creepy. Have you seen those fish?
And also it could kill you just as easily, because once you go down there and things start getting crushed,
Oh
I don't
yeah,
know, man, that's a lot of pressure, literally,
No.
for bum chick.
Yeah, but if I had the chance, if I could just like travel freely and my safety is ensured, oh, definitely give me all of space. I want to see all of it.
I cry in planetariums because space is so,
It's so pretty.
gives me so much awe. If you were the president for a day, what would you do? What's a law would you make, or what would you do in general? Maybe you just want to, you know, moon people. I don't know.
Oh God, I would just get rid of this church over everything and putting your stupid religious beliefs as a reason for hating on other people. That's like just the most stupidest thing ever. Like, you know, last time I checked, I don't think Christianity was all about hate, but why is it now?
Yeah, weird thing what happens when humans start making little groups for themselves that have a lot of rules to exclude other people.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's a good one.
What could I have that one first?
We're getting to our last two questions. So I will start with, I want to make sure before this episode ends, first of all, thank you so much for being here. I love talking to you. You're so wonderful.
Thank you.
Meeting you guys was honestly one of the highlights of my year, because
that's good to hear.
It's such a wonderful community, and you and Adriana and Time and Airson, you know, all the DJs have just been like wonderful human beings and bringing this community together. So amazing. Yeah. And Rami, obviously, for making the DC.
And Rami, of course.
But I want to make sure that you have a chance to plug anything that you want to. And also, if you have either, you know, musicians you're loving right now, or other DJs or artists or people that you're like, these people, you should give them some support right now, who those people would be. So both for you and for others, like, what are your shout outs right now?
So my shout outs, obviously, you know, definitely check out Bootie Mashup. We just have parties almost every day, and it's just like a fun hangout space. I'm especially excited about our long New Year's Eve celebrations.
Yeah, that's gonna be exciting.
We're starting it here in Germany. We're going to celebrate New Year's here, then for UK, then we basically go through all the time zones till we give the ball over to Lobster Dust. He's going to do the East Coast. We're going to travel over the East Coast we have Airson, PDS, we have DJ Time. He's going to do the San Francisco, the West Coast, and like the end of the set, it's going to be at least 15 hours, maybe more. We don't know. I'm super excited about ending the year with what we can do best, which is like throwing parties and create a good time for other people as much as we can. And with these circumstances, basically. So I'm very excited about that. New Year's Eve is always a great party. It's just so much fun. So very excited about that. Definitely check that out. And once it's next year again, check out my own cute little show, because on Mondays I'm playing, well, I just finished the Sailor Moon video game on Mondays, so we'll see what I'm going to play next. But on Thursdays, I'm playing the music, so just tune in and chill. Then I did just find a new artist. Sugar Mint is their name. They have an Etsy shop, and they are basically painting dreamy backgrounds from Sailor Moon, but also from other anime. There's some Pokemon in there. There's like, I think, Final Fantasy, and like, it's just very pretty sceneries. It's just mostly landscape. Maybe there's a silhouette, and this is, it's just something very dreamy about like this background, about the Tokyo skyline as shown in Sailor Moon or other anime, with the moon and the Tokyo Tower. And it just reminds me on a moment I had when I was in Japan, and I just bought 3 postcards of her. I'm going to hang them in my house. They're very, very pretty. So if you like dreamy backgrounds that just kind of make your mind travel instantly, check out Sugar Mints. And yeah, man, check out all of our DJs at Bootie Mashup, because everyone's very much has their own flavor that they bring. We have constantly new producers popping up. Check out the Bootie Mashup website. I think this is where you find all the best mashups, also new producers that we find. We just kind of try to showcase, because we can't sell the mashups because we don't have the copyrights to dance. Yeah. So all we got is exposure. So give us that exposure.
I've been actually so impressed with Johnson Zyle, because Hyper Zyle's one of our members in the DVD, had never done any mashup work until seeing you guys and joining Bootie Mashup, and their stuff's really fun, and like they like to kind of cram as much as like many songs into one song. That's kind of their brand right now. Yeah. So I'm gonna tag a bunch of our producers underneath this video so you guys can check them out. And because I think this video is probably gonna air after January, I'm gonna make sure to post about our amazing New Year's party before then. So you guys have a chance to attend. What I would like to ask you for our final question is my January question of the year, which is, I kind of think, resolutions for the new year are kind of bullshit. You can change whenever you want. You don't have to wait till the new year. Exactly. But it is nice to go into the year. It does feel kind of like a reset, it feels like something. Is there something, either you have a goal or you want to try to bring into this new year that you're excited about, or is something that you are looking to, I don't know how to phrase it best, because it's not even necessarily change, but like something that you are excited about trying out in this new year?
You know what? I haven't really thought about that. I never plan or do those things. I'm not a person of resolution or long plannings. I'm just doing it, and I'm doing it right now. I'm kind
of the same way. Yeah. Like I think right now my thing that I'm excited about is, once things open back up again, I've made a decision that I want to try to travel more in 2021. I think I felt really trapped in my house this year, and I want to take advantage of when people are healthier and being a little more responsible, when we get a vaccine, that I want to see like 3 new places I've never been before. That's like it's not really a resolution. It's just something I want to like look forward to this year.
That makes sense. I mean, I was traveling a lot prior to this lockdown. So I gotta say, in a way, I really enjoy being forced to staying home so much, because I've never spent so much time at home. And I'm like, man, my place is awesome. It's full of Sailor Moon stuff, and I really enjoy being home. So to me, it was almost like a vacation.
Yeah.
It's how people always say, oh man, I need a vacation from this vacation. This is literally what it was. It was a vacation from all the vacations and travels that I did. Not all of them were vacations. Mostly they were not. But this was kind of very much what I needed, like just to not really chill down, but just spend some time at the same place. Although I didn't chill a lot. I'm just kind of online or on camera all the time now. So it's still kind of stressful. But in a good way, but still, man, like the day after Christmas, after we did like another 7-hour set or 10, I don't know, I just spent the entire day on the sofa. And it was nice. So yeah, there's not necessarily much I intend on changing or tackling, because I feel like whatever comes up, I deal with it, and I kind of do it immediately. I do not need a lot of motivation like for it. So I'm like, we'll see what happens. I'm just kind of reacting to what the outside world is throwing at me, and I'm throwing it back.
It's real hard to make plans right now.
Anyway.
No, I like that. I think just having a flexible attitude going into the new year. Do you guys, I mean, obviously it's going to depend a lot on the world climate, but are you guys well, I think it makes sense that whenever Bootie Mashup comes back to being a live event, that probably be a little after, we've seen how the vaccine works and that spread's been lower. But I wonder if you've talked about it at all. Do you guys think you're going to still be doing, having online sets even when doing?
Yeah, absolutely, definitely. I mean, we built something so beautiful on Twitch. Like, we created this community together with the Dance Commander Disco. Like, this is just so great. Like not only having this creative output for ourselves, but also just, finding people that would have otherwise never found us. And, Booty is happening in several cities on the world, but it's still just those cities, and you're not traveling there every week. If you're somewhere in the middle of the country, like East Coast and West Coast are both far away, right? So we reached so many more new people that have the same love for mashups, or for just the music that we play, or for the geeky shit that I do. And it's amazing. Like, all these people would have never met if it wasn't for the pandemic, really. So like, there's absolutely no reason why we should stop that. In fact, the reason why we did the big Friday night parties, I mean, we DJ almost every day, but Friday is always like the biggest party. We set us up this way so that when Saturdays, the actual Booty parties return, we are going to have a big Friday night party on Twitch, and a big Saturday night party in real life.
I think that's such a great idea, and I think it's like you said, it's such a great way to bring people from all over the world and all over the countries, different countries, together in one place to hang out. And then on Saturday you can go to your local Booty and you can hang out with those people in real life, and hopefully we can travel and see each other and finally meet each other in real life.
Totally.
That'll be a fun thing. It's gonna be so fun when we finally get to meet in person.
That would be so cool. Yeah.
Gonna be a
good time. Where are you sitting again? Like, what city you in?
Well, I'm in Los Angeles, which has Booty as well, but I think eventually I'm gonna have to make my way up to San Francisco, because DJ Time and I, like, what's gonna happen when there's two times in the same space-time continuum? Like, one of us is gonna like have to blip out of reality or something.
Probably. Yeah. How did you actually? My question to you: how did you start being DJ Time? How did that happen?
So DJ Time, I think, actually DJ'd the first Bootie Mashup set that I came to. And I was just like, oh man, this guy's weird and he's cool and he seems like fun. And sometimes you and Time are often in the DCD. Adriana comes sometimes, but Time's there almost every time.
Yeah.
So I start to notice that he was there in the DCD, and obviously, like, everyone's talking and having a good time. And I didn't know a lot of people yet. So I've always been the kind of person who, I'll walk up to somebody at a party and I'll just sort of introduce myself, and I'll be like, hey, it's like crazy, we're like wearing the same thing, or like, we both really like Pokemon, I heard you were talking about that. And it's hard to do that in a box, because so I made a couple friends. I think I was talking to Fish and Mika and Ty Harrison at that point, and Cthulhu, obviously, because he's wonderful and talks to everyone, and Keslow. There's wonderful people. They're a very friendly group of people, so you should join. And Time was on, and I don't know, I wasn't even drunk. I just kind of thought it'd be funny. I got a haircut recently, and I was like, wouldn't it be kind of funny if what I started doing was I dressed like him, and then about maybe like halfway into that, I started just doing whatever he was doing in his box, I'd start doing in my box.
Mm-hmm.
And it took him a while to realize it. But then when he did, he kept trying to kind of like trick me. So he'd come back with a Santa hat, and then I'd come back with a Santa hat, or he'd come back with a guitar and I'd come back with a guitar. And he was so like, you could just see on his face every time I do it, he was like, what the fuck? Like, why are you doing this? So it kind of just became this thing where I would come back, and I haven't dressed up as Time in a while, actually, just because I've been, I come quite late, and a lot of times either Time's finished his setup or he's already changed into kind of like normal clothes. But I've got my Time props still. I still have my, let me see if right here I've got my, no.
The Jameson.
Jameson, yeah, except there you see, and then I slip it over my gold.
Yeah. Täuschend echt nice.
It is. And so it was really just something I did because I kind of thought it would make him laugh, and it became this thing where then I was Time too. And then I heard a couple days ago, I missed it, everyone dressed like each other. And I was like, this is the one day I should have been there.
This was the one day.
Dressed as each other would have been perfect. But yeah, there's no earthly explanation why that should have happened. Like, I started tagging him in my Instagrams where I dress like him, and I was like, there's a very good chance he could be like, who is this creepy person and why are they doing this? And I'm bless him for just thinking it was as funny as I did, because I don't know. I have no explanation.
DJ Time is just up for any kind of stupid fun, so that was exactly the person who you should.
It was right around the time he got his finger stuck in his hand stuck in
the little handcuffs, yeah.
So I think it was around that time I was just like, this guy's, I think he'll think this is funny.
He did.
It's good.
Yeah.
Jupiter, this has been so wonderful.
Yeah, thank you.
I'm so grateful to you for coming on today. And like I said, everybody check out Jupiter. I'm going to tag her below for her Instagram, and I'll tag Bootie Mashup. I'll tag Jupiter's account on Twitch, and all the Bootie Mashup producers and the artists that Jupiter plugged, so you guys can check those out below. Yay. And thank you guys so much for tuning in. I know it's still a new format. I know we're still getting used to it, but it means a lot to me. And do continue to make good art, continue to support good art, continue to buy stuff from cool artists and share cool artists when you see them, because right now is sort of a weird time, and sometimes those moments of real joy, hopefully they're coming a little more frequently to you, but sometimes they can be a little hard to find. So when you find them, hold on to them, really love them, and share them with as many people as you can, because it can really change someone's day. So thank you so much, and Jupiter, thank you so much for being on.